The final quarter-final on Saturday is, of course, England against France. France, the favourites going into this tie.
You're not even going to watch the Morocco-Portugal game.
Of course I will.
You're going to be prancing around in your lounge, just like muttering to yourself, awaiting some white...
There'll be lottering a lot.
There'll be people in a white van outside your house to take you into an institution. That's how bad you're...
Yes, we welcome in Mark Ogden, joins us. Mark, obviously you're rooming with Jules. This is quite the battle of the roommates.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I think he's tied up my cable as well. I think he's trying to stitch me up here. But
I don't know how to... okay, oh boy.
Yeah.
How do you see this, Mark?
I think that... I've been watching France last week. I think England are slight favourites, actually. I think that France, for me, haven't got the midfield to compete with England. I think that Mbappe's the X-factor, isn't it? Mbappe's the guy that, you know, nobody can cope with, but I think England have got a really good chance.
I want to say, Oggy, no surprises then? We've just put the team up here, but similar team to the last game, or any changes?
No, I don't see any changes. I really don't. I think that, you know, you could argue that maybe at right back you could maybe bring in Trippier instead of Walker, because I know Walker's at the pace, but Walker for me was caught out a couple of times against Senegal last week. But I think they are banking on his pace. I think they are banking on the fact that Walker's played against him before. He has got that pace, and Mbappe's name checked in this week as being one of the fastest players he's played against. But beyond that, I just don't see how you change it. I wouldn't argue for Rashford to start. I don't know. I think the team he's got to start with is as good as he's going to get. But you know, France are France. I think. Like I say, you take it on Mbappe. I think France, with all the injuries, you know, with no Pogba, with no Kante, with no Nkunku, with no Hernandez, I think France, no Benzema, obviously. I think France are a much weaker prospect. So, I think, and you know me, I'm not the most optimistic Englishman ever, but I think England have got a chance.
No. Jules, what's the big talking point from a French perspective going into this tie?
Well, I think we're hoping that England put quite a lot of focus and energy at trying to stop Kylian Mbappe, of course, and that we can benefit from that with having more freedom to Griezmann, more freedom to Dembele. I think people overlook the Dembele-Vichot matchup, I think, and everybody focuses on Kylian, of course, and rightly so, I think, because he will have a big part to play in this game, and if England can't stop him, then I think we're going through. But the Dembele-Vichot is quite a fascinating one as well, and I think. Let's not forget how good Dembele has been at times, not always, but at times there's still issues with his decision-making, but at times he's been really good in this tournament, and I think Shaw and Maguire can struggle against him. There's the Griezmann new role and that new position as well that I think can hurt England. So I really think it's a 50-50. Maybe you can give 55-45 to France because of Kylian, but I think this one is a very tight one, and it's hard to call, even if I kind of have to agree with Mark. I've got a bad feeling about this one, and I think tomorrow can be England's day, really. But I think the French have a lot of arguments, and you can make a case for them winning as well.
You can see the mental struggle that Jules is already having. Let's take a look, shall we, at the predictions. Only Jules and Craig are the two people going for an England victory. Elsewhere, everybody else...
Well, hold on. Did Oggy just not say France is England?
Well, he's got 3-1 here.
I changed your mind.
Yeah, he just said that. Yeah, 3-1. Exactly. Exactly.
These predictions are a mess. Why, Craig?
Look, I think the French are really good. Obviously, I mean, hopefully this is not going to be the most boring game, you know, because it's on paper, it looks like an amazing match. Why? I think if the two English fullbacks get exposed to Dembele or Mbappe cheating, and I think that's a big worry for Shaw going forward. I think if they get exposed, the French will get at Maguire. If Dembele gets at Maguire, it's history, right, or Mbappe. But I just... If England can do the basics, it's in a big if defensively, I just like the rotation they've got up front and in midfield. I just feel they're performing well in there. I think Henderson in there along with Rice gives Bellingham, that who's obviously was brilliant last time out, gives him that extra edge and confidence to step forward and run with the ball and make those late runs. And if Foden and Saka's not happening, he's got 3 or 4 players he can make changes to. And for me, that's why I think it's going to be a high-scoring, potentially English victory. And that's I mean, as a Scotsman, it's not easy to say that. Right.
Mario, what are you going for? How do you see this game going?
I think that France is going to do the surprise package to England, because I know that the English are talking about, okay, this is their opportunity. But just what Greg said, I feel Dembele could be even, the focus is on Mbappe. Everybody focuses on. I've heard Walker says that too. What he says is the answer to it. I love it. What he said, like, look, we all talk about Mbappe, but it's also about me and about my country. Okay, but Dembele, that's another one for me. Like, when he gets on the ball, it's not easy. 1-on-1 with a guy that dribbles left foot can cross right foot. That's very difficult. Like, sometimes people don't talk about it, but the system that he has, Dembele, I tell you straight up. Okay, Mbappe, I'm not going to say like it's easier to play against, but at least you know what he's going to do. If the pace is behind you, he's going to go for it. But Dembele is unpredictable, so that's one. And then, of course, we got, Giroud. Giroud is not the guy that we look at and thinking like, oh, he's going to do some crazy stuff. But he scores goals and you go like, wow. So that's why I go for France. I feel, Tukamani in the middle of the park, he will put the balance in. Yes, France is going to maybe come up with a surprise, regardless if I like what England is doing.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.